So by this point, you all have seen the Super Bowl halftime performance and you all know what they did in terms of SpongeBob's tribute. But my question now is, why didn't they play the song despite the huge demand from people all around the world? Let's discuss right now.
Sauce in my bag, swag.
Hello there beautiful human, my name is RidersDX and welcome to my channel where I'm talking about the Spongebob Sweet Victory performance. At least it was supposed to be a performance, or we were just hoping really strongly that it was going to be a performance, but nope. As you all know, what we got on the Sunday was just a quick 15-second clip. What did I just say? 15-second clip of Squidward introducing Travis Scott. Hooray. But in this video I want to talk about why it is they chose not to play the song despite all the teasing, despite all the demand from all the fans, despite everything that's happened up to this point, why they must have decided not to do it. So nothing I say right now is gonna be confirmed information. This is all just speculation based on what I think most likely happened. So please don't take anything I say as actual fact. This is just me speculating based on what I've seen and based on what I think the normal practices are at the Super Bowl, which obviously I would have absolutely no idea what actually goes on. So please keep that in mind. Now before we dive into the topic, I just want to highlight today's fan art. This comes from Rooksy, who actually made a 3D painting of Metal Duckos. I'm like, what? 3D? I think there's only been like 1 or 2 other people who have done this before, but this one looks really extensive. They put a whole video out, so I'm gonna leave a link to the video in the description box below. But yeah, take a look at this drawing, and I won't show you the final product here. I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and check out their video because they did such a good job on this that I want to make sure that people go to their channel to check out the final results. So definitely go ahead to their channel and check out the video. It's only a couple minutes long and you could just get to the end if you really want to just see the final piece of art. But it really is amazing. So thank you so much, Rooksy. But back to the topic at hand. So as you all know at this point, the SpongeBob Sweet Victory petition had gained over 1 million signatures, and we got lots of acknowledgments from NFL, Maroon 5 and all that throughout the entire journey from the petition start to the Super Bowl. So as you all know, they've teased this to no end. They've had so many quotes, so many mentions of Sweet Victory and whatever social media promotion they were doing. Nickelodeon even joined in on it, putting out some Sweet Victory related videos and content on their social media accounts. They really just was building up to this huge situation where Sweet Victory would get played at the Super Bowl halftime show. Everyone and their mom would be happy, and then life goes on. But nope, we only got 15 seconds, and while it does seem really bad that they did that, I think logically, if you think about it, it makes sense why they did that, and here's what my reasoning is. So unfortunately, Steven Hillenburg died at the end of November, and this petition didn't truly gain traction until like what, the middle of December or something like that. I'm not really sure what the timetable of that is. So at this point, a lot of the halftime show had already been planned out and rehearsed and designed and all that, and we already had like the 2 guest performers probably signed up to the performance at this point, Travis Scott and Big Boy. So it really was like a big performance that was already designed and already good to go. It was just like rehearsal, some last minute details and touches and all that, and they were basically ready to go and put on a show. But then you have this petition gaining a lot of attention, and you have a lot of fans asking for this song to get played, and this song is only like a couple minutes long really. But in terms of the halftime show and the Super Bowl, they have very strict time limits in terms of like what they can try to fit in and what deadlines they need to meet and make sure they don't go over. And the halftime show is one of those things, you know, the halftime show doesn't usually go on for more than like 12 minutes because they need to make sure that they fit in all the commercials that they had paid for their slots during the airing, because you know those commercial spots, they cost so much money. Like it's crazy how much money you have to pay to get an advertising spot at the Super Bowl. It's insane. So when you're paying that much money for advertising, you gotta make sure that you give those advertisers the airtime that they paid for. Otherwise, you could get into a lot of trouble. So with that in mind, anything that they can add onto the show has to be really minute, because everything that they already set in to having the show, you know, having Travis Scott and Big Boy being in there, having the songs that Maroon 5 wanted to play, these are all probably written out in contracts in ways that it cannot be broken, because, you know, the Super Bowl halftime show is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You know, when you get that opportunity, unless there's something really going on with it that makes you want to pass it up, you don't turn that down. You don't turn that down, and you take that opportunity and run with it. And that's exactly what Maroon 5, Travis Scott, and Big Boy did. But now you had the Spongebob Sweet Victory petition going on, and people really wanting this performance to be in there. They really had to think about exactly what they could do to actually incorporate that performance into what they already had. Now, here's where the NFL is really at fault here. I really don't think we should blame like Maroon 5, Travis Scott, or Big Boy. Even though their performance was very underwhelming, that doesn't mean that they had a big hand in Sweet Victory's very minute appearance at the show. I really do think that we need to look at NFL in terms of how they handle this. So the NFL could have very much just ignored Petition and surprised us with a small little clip during the halftime show. If people went into the show not expecting SpongeBob to make an appearance and then seeing him make an appearance afterwards, you know how crazy that would have been? We would have been so happy to even see SpongeBob there, let alone expecting to play or perform a song. We would have been so happy to see SpongeBob in this exact scenario if our hopes weren't built up. But this is where the NFL really is at fault. They literally built up our hopes, you know, from the tweet from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium to Maroon 5's inclusion of SpongeBob in the Super Bowl promo. There's so many things that the NFL did to hype this performance up. And you know why they hyped the performance up? It's because they knew that if they hyped it up, that people would want to tune into the halftime show. And you know what that means when people tune into the show? More money, more advertising revenue. That's literally what it is. That's literally the reason they hyped this performance up to no end, only to give us the 15 puny seconds that it ended up being. It was because they wanted to hype it up just so we would come in and watch the performance, so they could get those big viewer numbers and they could get those profits. And this is all speculation, like I said. Maybe there was a lot more behind the scenes, but from the outside looking in, this is really what it looks like, and it makes the most sense too. I mean, to be honest, if I was a sleazy businessman, I probably would do the same thing. I mean, I kind of do that sometimes as a YouTube creator, so why not just do that at a bigger scale on the Super Bowl halftime show? But this is why it really does suck what they did. It's because they really did do what they could to get our hopes up. They teased it to no end, and they got people like me to cover it and really just hype this performance up even more, only for it to not even do that much in the end. And that's what really sucks about this whole situation, is that people were built up to expect this to happen. And yeah, that's just really, it sucks. It really does suck, and it's really crappy what they did. And of course, it's seen very well in terms of the audience perception of the performance. If you look at the NFL upload of the Maroon 5 Super Bowl performance, it's got a lot of dislikes right now, so people are definitely not happy about it. I will say though, I am actually kind of surprised at how many people are actually upset about it, because you know, as wide and as appealing as SpongeBob is, I never thought that SpongeBob would have this much support behind him in a setting as a Super Bowl. You know, only 1 million people signed that petition, and I know 1 million people is a big number, but think about how many people actually watch the Super Bowl and the halftime show especially. Like, the halftime show has been able to consistently get 100 million viewers tuning in every single year, so 1 million out of 100 million people is really not that much in hindsight. So the fact that the public is so united in terms of how they feel about this performance really does speak to volumes, just how much people were looking forward to SpongeBob having an appearance in this Super Bowl performance. And the fact that they didn't do it, and seeing all this backlash and all this negative perception surrounding the NFL, it really does speak to volumes, just how widespread and appealing SpongeBob really has become. You know, even though only 1 million people signed that petition, there were probably like 5 to 10 million more people that were really excited to see it, just didn't get around to sign the petition. You know, that really is just the reality of it. A lot of people don't even know that change.org is an actual website. So it's it was very surprising at first for me, but then I thought about it and it does make sense. But yeah, that's pretty much what I think of what went down. To summarize, I think when the petition came about, it was just at the point where they literally could not cut out anything else from the performance due to contracts, to time's sake, and promises, and you know, a lot of like business stuff that goes into this stuff. But the fact that they still teased it like crazy, making people think that the performance was happening, was a really crappy thing to do, especially because the reason people wanted this performance was because they wanted it to be a tribute to Steven Hillenburg. So if you think about it from that perspective, it really is a slimy thing to do, and it's just, you know, it's not something very respectful. It really is not respectful. But okay, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to my channel if you like videos like these, want to see more in the future, follow me on Twitter at RidersDX, or join my Discord server, the Spongy Garden. And even though we didn't have a sweet victory on Sunday, we can just go on with our lives, I guess. Alright, this is Riders riding out.